check is gonna win the exchange because he's gonna win the rook. So black sees this and first plays this move, preparing to castle queenside. The question is, should he castle queenside? Maybe it's better to castle kingside. White plays this quiet move, c3, which is preparation for b4, attacking this bishop. Black castles queenside. So you see, Morphy, by this move of black, already guessed that he's gonna castle queenside. So he has to attack on this side, because if the kings are castled on opposite sides of the board, it's basically a pawn race, and who's gonna attack the king first? So he plays b4, and when the bishop retreats, he plays a4. So you see, Morphy is already advanced in his plan to attack the king side, while black is still having to find play on the other side. And now black plays a wrong move. He feels that the pawns are coming here, and he wants to stop them by playing a6. But what's this doing is, if white in the future is gonna play this move, taking is gonna open up a file by retaking. Now, if he's moving one pawn to avoid exchanging here, then white can exchange this one and open up this file. If this one goes up, he can take here and open this file. So actually, when this pawn is not here, when he advances, he can bypass the pawn and keep it closed on this side. So this move is a bad move. It achieves the opposite of what it wants to achieve. He wants to stop this, but by playing these two pawns here, the files are going to open for sure. So this is a bad move. Morphy puts his queen behind the pawns, and now black removes the knight. Maybe he's thinking this knight is a protector of the king position, but Morphy has prepared for this move and just takes off with the bishop. And now comes the black's pawn storm on the queen side. I mean on the king side, yeah, of course. He plays bishop e3. This is actually a bad move, because if black is gonna take this off, you get these weak pawns here. These pawns are weak, and after something like this and this, you're gonna attack this pawn, and the queen is gonna enter the position maybe. So probably not the best move to play here in this position. But black doesn't take it, so he plays, okay, this pawn is here. He plays g4. White is calm and takes the pawn. You might think black just gave a pawn away. Why is he doing that? But by giving the pawn away, of course, he's opening lines towards the king. Black doesn't want to exchange his bishop. Morphy goes back. The rook comes over. And Morphy plays very patiently. He said, this bishop is the best placed on this move, so on this square, sorry. So why don't I take the time to put it there? So he's very patient for a young boy and playing positionally. The bishop moves up. Not sure what Morphy's father is achieving here. Morphy plays this, the bishop drops back. Of course not here, because he wants to double the bishops to put pressure here. Okay. And now Morphy starts his attack. As I already said, these two pawns are not good, because it's gonna open up the position. Morphy's father plays this move. Now retake with the pawn opens up the rook. And Morphy plays knight b6. And now already a lot of things are going on. Of course, black wants to protect this square. But this is very dangerous, because the knight is potentially under attack of these two pieces. And if white takes this pawn, even there is a threat of checkmate, right? If the knight is pinned to the checkmate here. So the knight is actually not protecting this square, because if he goes here, this is checkmate, right? So black is trying to counterattack. He's attacking this pawn 2 times. Now this threat is real, because if black could make another move, he would grab the pawn, check, only move, check, only move, and checkmate. So whatever the situation is here, white first has to deal with this threat, because he's gonna get checkmated. So it's important, if you're attacking somewhere, never forget to check your opponent's threats, and here the threat is checkmate. Okay, it's easy to defend with f2, but you have to consider it. Now this knight is hanging because 2 pieces attack it, so black drops back his queen to defend the knight. But now this already loses because of the tactics. White plays rook a8 check. Now we already saw that this rook can't be taken off, because then we have checkmate, right? So there's only one choice: to block the check, because the king can't move here, to block the check. But this bishop had the job of defending the knight, so this loses a piece by force. White takes it and hits the queen. Now black is getting a little bit depressed here. He's obviously in a losing position, so he tries a kamikaze attack. He wants to try to get a draw by giving perpetual check. So he starts a kamikaze attack, takes off this pawn check. Of course, he retakes with the rook. The rook takes check, and the king takes, and the queen gives check here. And what's the idea of Morphy's father? Obviously he can't win this game because he's too far behind, so he tries to get a draw by giving perpetual check. He wants to keep on checking white's king, so that's a draw. And he has some reason to believe that it's possible, maybe because the queen has room here and here to give checks. But Morphy plays it very cool, and he plays a very good move, king h1. Now this may seem counterintuitive, putting the king in the corner while being attacked by the queen, but this is obviously the correct defense. Black gives another check. He he hopes that Morphy plays something like this, and then he can keep on checking the king, right? But Morphy just plays a very cool move. He puts his bishop back, and black has no more checks. And he's behind 2 pieces. So game over.